Hello guys, this is Vampire Jaku once again. Our next lesson is to shade, and I promised you guys that I would make a shading tutorial, so here it is. We're going to use the same character that I've used previously for the coloring, since it makes sense, since I did say we were going to do shading on this character. Well, sort of, kind of, but yeah. Anyway, we're going to start off by making a new layer. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with layers, or you're not a big fan with layers, now's the time to learn. Illustrator is very big when it comes to layers, so you must do this. Now, here's the layers palette, right over here. Notice this is layer 1. If I were to click this eye here, which means visibility, if I were to toggle that off, you will no longer see my character. If I toggle it back on, she's back. So this is layer 1. For our shading, in my opinion, I want this to be in a separate layer, so that way, you know, nothing else gets affected, because unlike Photoshop, if you were to click something, or if you were to color or do anything, it gets affected on that layer. So if you were to use your pen tool, you might accidentally select something within that layer, and you don't want that. So we're going to lock it. So notice this empty white box, as you see right here. I'll just zoom that down if you cannot see it. This white box here, if you toggle it, it is now locked. There's a small little lock here. If I were to toggle it again, the lock turns off. Once you turn this lock on, you can't touch this layer. I can't touch any of the art here. I cannot color on this art. It's locked. So you can toggle it on and off. As of right now, we're going to lock it, and we're going to make a new layer. To make a new layer, go all the way down here. There's going to be a trash can icon. You don't want to delete your layer. You want to create a new layer. There's a small little box down here, and it's going to say create new layer. So I'm going to drag this upwards so you can see it. And notice right here, hold on a second. And notice right here it says create new layer. So you click this button, and now you have a layer 2. This is going to be known as your shading layer. You could double click it, and it will have layer options. From there, you can name it shading. The color is usually the highlights of the character. You'll see what I mean in a moment. Just click OK. Notice that once I start, we're going to, well, actually, let me just do this slowly. Once you start drawing, you're going to see the red highlights. That indicates a path. So you'll see once I start. Now, to begin with shading, the character needs shading. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get this girl a darker pink tone. So go back to your color books if you still have it open. Click a darker version of this pink, and I guess it'll be this color I have here selected, which you see right here that I just clicked. Or if you want this color, or this color, or this color, doesn't matter. We're going to click this color here, which is True Match Pink, whatever the code number is for it. And just drag your tool so you won't get confused. We're going to use the pen tool. If you're not familiar with the pen tool, this is the best time to learn how to use it. I'm going to do it as slow as I can, because I know some people don't know how to use it. So please forgive me if I go a little too fast for you. Now, we're going to start by clicking in this area. Mind you, we're on layer 2, known as shading. I'm going to put this here so you can see it, even though you can't see it too well. It'll be right here. We're going to start on this side. Or this side. We'll start on this side. Okay. I'm on my pen tool. Make sure that on your toolbox, on your tool palette, that your fill is pink, just click X, get rid of that, and click X to toggle, and just click the color on the True Match palette, and it will automatically have this color. Next, select press P on your keyboard for pen tool. I know people dread this, but I'll try to make it easier for you people, okay? So now since we have our pen tool, we can start. Click by using your pen or your mouse, and then we're going to click again anywhere you want to because it goes bypass. So we have to do that, okay? So we have to click another over here. Now you have a line. Don't let go. You're just clicking. So now you have this line here. Now you drag downwards with your mouse, and now you see this curve. I'm going to let go, and now you have this. We're not done yet. Click this anchor point you see here. And now we're going to make another one. Repeat the same thing except you're making a smaller one. So you're clicking another dot. I'm going to press Command Z so you can see what I just did. I clicked the anchor point. And I made another point here. And I dragged down. Make another point by clicking on this anchor point here. Make another point up here, drag down slowly, click this anchor point, and click this anchor point and drag up. Now you have a shape. This is the shaded shape for your character. Now, how we're going to have it inside the lines, that's when the transparency palette comes in. Notice your shape is right here. Make sure it's still highlighted so it's visible on your transparency window. What you're going to do next is you're going to click this box here. That's the blending mode. It says normal for now because nothing happened. Click down, and we're going to mess around with the options. Let's click with multiply, see what happens. Notice that the shading has became more saturated, darker. Hopefully it didn't affect the overall shape, so I'm going to press A and click on the palette so I can see. Okay, so this is the shading for the character, and you're going to continue to repeat this over and over again. So, as usual, you're going to use the pen tool, as you see here. Click and drag. Click on the anchor point, drag again. Click on the anchor point, drag down again. Now, if you don't want to click P, or you don't want to go straight to transparency again, just click I for eyedropper. Make sure your shape is still selected. Click on the colored area that's already been affected by the transparency palette. And now, the shaded area is now the same way as the one that's been affected by the multiply. Press P for pen tool once again and repeat the same steps that I said previously. Sorry if I stutter, I get kind of nervous, you know. And repeat once again, click and drag, press I for eyedropper, press A and click on the palette. Now we're going to do for this part for the skin. Sometimes it gets a little too dark and you might end up seeing like marks on your stroke. Don't worry about that. Just make sure your stroke is really dark so that way you don't see those little what I call bleeding marks on top of your illustration. That usually happens when you use multiply because the shaded area becomes too saturated and becomes much darker than your stroke. You can easily solve that problem by going back to transparency, selecting your objects, and just click darken if it's too much. And if the color seems too dull for you for a shaded color because darken doesn't make anything saturated, just go back to your color palette over here and select a darker shaded area. Well, I guess that should be it. I don't have to do the same thing here for shading since I already showed you about the hair. I guess that should be it. That'll be it for today's lesson. I hope this has helped you, and I look forward to making more videos for you people. Bye!